Hi, I'm Chris, and today I'll show you how to apply your patterns to your illustrations in Procreate so they don't look flat. If you already know how to make repeat patterns, the next step is knowing how to actually use it in your artwork. In this video, I'll walk you through exactly what to do after your pattern is made, how to apply it, shape it so it fits your illustration, and bring it all together so it feels natural and finished. And as a little bonus, I'll show you how to turn your pattern into a brush so you can use it even more easily in your future projects. Let's draw together. If you like the same tools I'm using, you can grab them for free inside my goodie bag, and I've linked that down below for you. So it includes my full Procreate for Beginners course, so it's a really lovely place to start. Okay, so let's start with this simple pattern that we made in a previous video. And you have your tile here, so now what do you do with it? So let's just open our layers, and you can see all your layers here, but we just want this as one solid tile. So I'm just gonna go to the wrench and choose Copy Canvas. Go to your layers again, create a new layer, back to the wrench, and paste. So then you can see we just have this one, I'll show you like this, everything on just one layer. So then you can turn off your group, all of your multiple layers below, and then you can take this and duplicate it. Duplicate it 4 times. Okay, so let's just turn them off and start with the one. Go to your arrow, and make sure you're on uniform, and make sure snapping and magnetics are on. Okay, once that's ready, then we can just do this so that it snaps. So you see the orange halfway line, so we know that we've gone halfway. Now you're gonna bring it up and leave it in that corner. Just make sure it snaps to it. Now we're gonna do the next one. So tap on the next layer, same thing, just make it small so it snaps. So we're half the size. Bring it up, and you see that it lines up nicely. So now we're making this repeat pattern. We just don't have the one tile. So I'm going to do the next layer, snap, and down into the corners so they're all lining up. Next one, snap, and down into the corner. So now we're starting to see our repeat pattern. So now I'm going to merge these all together just by pinching them. So it's all on one layer. And we're going to repeat that. So duplicate by sliding to the left and choosing duplicate 4 times. I'm just going to turn it off just so it's a little easier to see. Select the first layer, same thing, snap, corner, turn on the next one. Oopsies, just make sure that you don't do that. Snap, up there. And just with these guides, it makes it so much easier with that snapping and magnetics on. It literally just jumps into a spot all by itself. So that's good. Okay, so that's great. It's all working out. So we'll just do it one more time so that we have a small enough pattern that we can use on our little character. So I'm just gonna duplicate this 4 more times. So we have 4 layers, and we'll just do that one more time. So snap and up. Next one. Don't pull it over like that. You have to grab that blue toggle. And just watch what you're doing. So, and you know, you can always go back. You have your original tiles. If you make a mistake, you can just go back and do it again. It's not a problem. Okay. So I think that's pretty good. So now I can just merge that all together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. So to the wrench, just say copy canvas, and grab this character that I have made. So what I'm gonna do, actually, I'll show you this. I'll start from the very beginning. So let's just say that we're going to put a pattern on her dress. So I'm gonna create a new layer. I'm just gonna select this blue color that I have here. I'm going to go to the Illustrator Starter Kit. I'm just gonna go grab my monoline. So it's just a nice solid fill brush. And we're just gonna start with a new layer. I think it's a little bit bigger. So on a new layer, you're just gonna do a solid fill of the area that you want the pattern to appear on. So this will just make it a lot easier to do all your little edits to it. I'm not doing a very nice job here. If I can fill this in, that'd be great. All right, here we go. And I'll just follow the lines here. All right, and we'll fill that in. Okay, so now that we have a solid fill, I'll just rename it solid fill. All right, so we have this now on top. So we'll select that layer and just go to your wrench and just choose paste. So now you have your pattern in here. So we can just scale that so it sort of fits to how you want it. And then we can go here and just tap on the pattern layer and just choose clipping mask. Now you can see that it fits exactly to the solid shape that you made. I'm not sure this pattern works perfectly for this girl, but we'll go with it anyways. All right, so how you make it look like it's actually incorporated, because it feels a little bit flat right now. Now this example perhaps is not too bad because it's a relatively flat dress, but let's say we just want to make it a little bit more like it's part of her form. So we're just going to go to the magic wand and choose liquefy. With push on and size, you're just going to have to sort of just see what works. You just, change it as you need to. So push, pressure's at max, everything else is at none. So all you're going to do is just sort of, angle it, just so that would be kind of maybe a little bit, the pattern will get smaller as it goes around her body. So just kind of move it around. And maybe here, it would maybe just choose a smaller brush and gather it in there just a little bit, just like kind of the folds here. I'll do more examples here because not every one of them is going to apply, but I think just having it a little bit more scrunched at the sides and a little bit bigger at the front creates that illusion that it's sort of wrapping around her a little bit more. Okay, so we'll start with that. Next, I'm going to go and do a layer on top. Also create that clipping mask. So we have 2 clipping masks in a row, all clipped to this solid fill, so it all will be contained within that shape. I'm just going to use, maybe just this watercolor brush here from the Illustrator Starter Kit. I'm going to still choose the same blue that I did before, and I can go and just do your shadows on top. Now I'm going to change my blending mode to multiply, and I'll show you why. Let's just do this. It doesn't look great, but I'll just, so you can see what I'm going to do. Tap on the N and change it to something like multiply is often a good go-to. Linear burn can work sometimes as well. You just kind of play with them to see what works best. I think I like multiply, and it's because, see now how the blue, you can actually see the different interactions instead of it just being all washed out. It's sort of bringing the warmness of the pink there through. It just changes the way the color reacts to the colors below. So I like that a lot better. So I'm gonna just have to undo this and then just redo this. So I'm making sure my clipping mask is still on and just tap on the N and go to multiply. And then I can paint on that and create a few shadows. So I'm just gonna make a bit of a smaller brush and just sort of in these folds here, maybe would have a few, shadows there. Maybe I'll just have a bit of a bigger brush here and just gently, actually even bigger than that maybe, being really gentle, just sort of have some of these folds come in here and just a bit of a shadow on the side. See how there's fold here. So doing those simple little overlays will just sort of help incorporate that. The other thing you can do, because I do have a color below, you could always play with this as well, because of course we have the white background on this particular pattern. You can go ahead and see what happens here. Now, what if we wanted to go and change it and make it completely different? I mean, that's kind of fun too. It's quite vibrant. You can have a play with, actually I kind of like that too. So it's taken on the blue from the solid base below. So you can play with the colors as well, just to, change it up and make it a little bit different. All right, so let's have another example. So now I'll show you another way to do this by using the pattern maker that's found in the goodie bag. So if you have a pattern like this one I have created on multiple layers. So I'm gonna want to just have this on one layer to begin with. So I'm gonna go to the wrench, copy canvas, and then paste. So that way I have everything together all just on one layer. So that's important for this part. So I'm just gonna go and get the pattern maker. So I have it on Chrome. So I'm just gonna slide that over and let that pop up. So this is the goodie bag. So if you scroll down a little bit here, you'll see the pattern maker. Just tap on give it a whirl and we'll wait for that. So that's where we're gonna drag and drop in there. So all I'm going to do is take this file and drag it over, and then that pops in there. And then that creates a little preview for us. So you can actually make it smaller. So you see how it's getting smaller. So I'm gonna have it quite small like that. And then I'm just going to tap on download preview, download. Okay, great. Then I can just go back to Procreate. I'm gonna go and get a new illustration. All right, here's a nice little example. So we can pop that in. So I'm just gonna go with the wrench, insert file. Now, because I am using Chrome, it is in my Chrome folder. It could be in your downloads folder, most likely if you use Safari, but you'll want to navigate to either your downloads or you go to on my iPad and Chrome, depending on how you have it set up. So I'm just gonna grab this here. And now we have our file, so I'm just gonna scale that up a little bit and just move it around. Oops, I have my snapping on again. I'm gonna change that and put that right in there like so. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that this layer is above the solid fill dress. I've already filled this in for you, so we don't have to do that again, but I just have this solid layer here. So I'm gonna put the pattern right above that so that then I can just go and choose clipping mask. And there we go, our pattern is on there. So let's just go ahead and make this a little bit nicer. So I'm gonna go and with this, because it is such a detailed and small print, we don't need to do so much, but if you want to go to your magic wand and liquefy with push selected, you can squeeze that side in a little bit. But honestly, with this one, you really don't have to do much. Okay, so let's go create a new layer on top and tap on it, choose clipping mask. I'm gonna choose multiply because I know that that will look the nicest because we'll have that colors blending in from the background. Actually, I'm gonna leave it at 100%. I'm gonna choose a color that we already have here. So I'll just pick that and then just make it a little bit darker maybe. I'm going to go and grab the watercolor brush and we'll just start to shade this a little bit. So where these grooves are, maybe it's a little bit too small, where the grooves are, kind of have it like this so it starts to really develop those folds and incorporate that, making it look like it's all part of the design. Okay, a little shading under here. Okay, and that's nice like that. Okay, we can go ahead and create a new layer, clipping mask, tap on the N and choose add. This will create a nice highlight, but you really want the opacity quite low, maybe about 20%, roughly around there. And then just go get a lighter color, maybe a nice little yellow here. And just where the bump would be at the highest point, you can create a little bit of a highlight there. It's just subtle. Hopefully you can see this, picking it up. You can always go ahead and change this a little bit, you know, because you can see how blown out that can get. So just be a little cautious with that. So still in the 20s, lower 20s is good, I'm finding. Just that little bit makes it have that lovely fluid motion of and creates those little ripples of the fabric. So now I'm going to show you how to create a pattern brush. So this will make it so that you don't actually have to do all that duplicating of the tiles if you don't want to, but you can just take one of your pattern tiles and apply it to a brush so you can use it in multiple illustrations easily. Now the thing is that it is more challenging to do a more complex pattern that has multiple colors, because when you paint the pattern, it's only going to be one color. So you could do outlines and then fill them in, but you have to manually do that. So just note that. Okay, So as you can see, this is just black and white. There's no color. So when you're doing your tile to create a brush, it has to be black and white. Those are the rules, and so it won't, if you do a lighter color, it will show up as gray and more of a transparent color. It won't be full color. So you have to have black and white. So this is a tile, a fairly simple one, so we're going to use that. So all we're going to do is go to our brushes, go to the very top here, and this will add it to whatever grouping you're in, just so you know. It'll come up at the top, so just hit the plus sign, create new brush. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to almost leave all of the settings as is, except for the spacing. I'm just going to have none. So this is none, none, none. Just leave that shape, easy peasy. We're going to go to grain. That's where we're going to put in our information here. So I'm going to go to edit, import, paste. Now you'll see that, I'm going to show you this, it's white background with black. Now, that's not exactly what I want, but I'll show you what it does. I'm just going to tap on that plus sign. So now you can see that when we paint, the color, the black, will be coming in behind. So it'll be like a brush stroke. That's not what I want. I just want polka dots. So what you want to make sure you have is go to edit. And all you're going to do is tap on it with 2 fingers to change it so the background is black. Because I always, usually draw with a white background and black or, a different color on top. So I don't normally draw with the black canvas. So this is like the easiest way just to change that for your brush settings. So just 2 taps, and you can change it back too. So just 2 taps so that the background is black. Okay, so you can see how that changes that. Wonderful. I'm going to change this to texturize. It'll change the way we can use this brush by being able to scale it here. So we can change the size of the pattern. It does not change the size of the brush. When we're doing our brush settings, it doesn't change that. It changes the scale within it. So this is really important to note. So let's just have it at about 25, just to start. Depth is max. Everything else is good. You don't have to touch anything else. Really simple brush. Tap on the plus sign. Now we have a new brush. Let's give it a test. I'm going to turn that off. Pick a new color here. Go to our layers and make sure we have a new layer. Have our brush at max. And now you can see you can just paint in a repeating pattern, which is pretty amazing. But obviously, if you miss a spot, you can just go over it again. So just note that. All right, let's go apply it to an illustration. So here we have this cute little fox, and she's wearing a little dress. And I have her dress solid fill here. So it's just the shape here. So I'm going to create my new layer on top of that. I'm going to clip it to it. I'm going to have my brush activated. I think I'll just pick this color here, maybe a little bit lighter. And then I can just brush this in. Super simple, easy peasy. Now with this, if you wanted to manipulate it, by that I mean using the liquify brush, I would just make sure you've over colored, and you can use liquify. Not every instance is necessary with this, and it also really depends on your pattern. I don't think with these dots you really need that, but it's important to know how to do it when those instances arise. So this is fine. I don't love it. I think the scale of it is far too big. So let's practice changing that. Just going to get rid of that layer, create a new one, tap on it, make it a clipping mask. I'm going to go back to my brush, go to grain, and simply change the scale. I'm going to bring it down to maybe like 12. Let's give that a go. All right, see how that just completely changes it all together. And that's much more appropriate for this particular drawing. Okay, so let's just make this more incorporated into this illustration. So I'm going to create a new layer on top, make it a clipping mask, tap on the N, change it to multiply. Just select this greeny color here. I'm just going to make it a little bit darker, a little bit deeper. Go to my watercolor brush and just checking I have multiply on there, and just start to bring this together. So wherever there's a fold, and kind of just make that look a little bit more flowy. Now I've shown you all examples of fabrics, But of course you can, in clothing, that's 99% of the time, that's what I'm doing and using patterns for. But of course you can use patterns for anything. Same principles apply. You just shape it to have it bending to the shape that you are working with. That would make sense. And then shade on top using your blending modes. And you can also highlight, and why don't we do that now as well? So you can create a new layer on top, tap on it, clipping mask, tap on the end. Let's go to add. Bring the opacity way down because it's quite a vibrant color. So let's just go to this light yellow here. And you can just have the highlights in the opposite areas of your shadows, of course. And this just makes, I think, even more a little pop to your illustration, just sort of making that pattern really be incorporated into it. Makes such a difference and makes that look more cohesive and really part of the overall illustration. I hope you enjoyed applying your patterns to your illustrations with me. You can access my Repeat Pattern Maker along with brushes and my full Procreate for Beginners course inside the goodie bag. It's completely free and I've linked it down below. If you'd like to learn how to create seamless patterns from scratch, just like this one, I do have a full step-by-step video that walks you through the entire process, and I'll link it for you here as well. If you're ready to take your skills even further, you can explore my full premium courses over at prettylittlelines.com, where I guide you step by step to create your own beautiful artwork that you can use for patterns and all sorts of other projects. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and keep drawing with me. To get inspired and keep creating, you can head over to this video right here. Thanks so much for being here. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.